all have a rightful place on land, regardless of race and ethnicity, regardless of gender, regardless of income and wealth. And particularly that we want Black people to have agency in the food system. And so we run training programs at various levels for beginners up through advanced on how to farm and how to access land and credit so that we can become independent farmers. We also work with a lot of Black and brown youth on reconnecting to the land and particularly healing the trauma that's inserted itself between us and the land. Say thank you all so much for coming. I know you came a really, really far way and had to get up so early in the morning. And I don't know what Ms. Maxwell told you about this farm, but we're really dedicated to food justice and dedicated to ending racism in the food system. So everything you do today goes toward that mission. We're going to be, in a few minutes, taking care of some soil, and that soil will grow food for people who otherwise wouldn't be able to eat healthy food.
This is definitely a new experience. I was not expecting this, but it's exciting in a way.
What's exciting about it?
Getting out of my element and trying something new. I've lived in the city my entire life, so this is definitely broader than what I'm used to.
I live in Elizabeth, New Jersey. So no, I don't get good food. Unless it's sometimes a home-cooked meal. But other than that, we don't really eat. We mainly eat, we eat out. Just last night, I had pizza, I believe. Yeah, pizza.
Well, I think in regards to why we are focusing on delivering food into food desert neighborhoods, we actually prefer the term food apartheid because a desert is a biome that is naturally created and has a place in this planet, and apartheid is a human-created system of segregation based on race, which is really the food system that we have right now, where certain people live in food opulence, and there are also a large percentage of Americans, mostly Black, Latino, and Indigenous Americans, who don't even have enough to eat, never mind high-quality food. So our farm share accepts, on a sliding scale, financial contribution for the food, so depending how much people make and how much wealth they have, they contribute at different levels.
I definitely am very aware that there's food deserts in different parts of the country, and more so for certain demographics. Food and health, and I feel in many ways, is becoming more of an elitist thing. I think it's almost like a human rights issue. If you can't eat good food, you're going to be subjected to perhaps these issues, later on in life. And so I think that's definitely something that I love about the soul of this place is really bringing that empowering element to people and getting back to the land, and maybe wanting to create people who would want to do the same thing they're doing as they go on in their journey, kind of like a domino effect.
Persistence.
Persistence.
Strength.
Strength.
Flexibility.
Flexibility.
God.
We try to think beyond just providing for the food needs of the community, but also what are the movement needs of the community. So there's a lot of groups that need something as simple as a place outside of the city to meet and good food on their plate so they can focus on their strategic thinking. There are some people who need training in terms of communication, nonviolent communication, or anti-oppression, or strategic goal setting. And so if that's what's needed, that's what we provide. What can happen on land is really different than what can happen in a conference room because you have the earth backing you up, who is alive, and you have the land backing you up, who is a spirit, and they become part of that conversation and part of the new heart that the group is creating. And here's an opportunity, to touch the soil and touch the insects and hear your history and see Black and brown bodies, adults as mentors and leaders who are farming and finding meaning in farming. I think that every community gets to define its needs and its solutions. This farm started out of our neighbors saying, we want to eat good food and we need a farm that's going to feed us. And so that careful listening has guided a lot of what we do. We've really framed it through a goal to use whatever power and resource we have to do our part to end racism in the food system. If it's space, if it's a specific skill, if it's food, encouragement, that's what our job is as landowning farmers, is to really support community-based leaders in exactly what they're asking us and telling us that they need.